Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, 4 nerds by nerds, hang out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
And we are delving back into the second campaign of Critical Role for Session 5, and we're going to kind of discuss that. Join us.
Spoilers! Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
All right, so we are in episode 5. I'm starting to lose track now. I'm going to have to take some notes or something. And it was a short episode.
We definitely had it shorter than the previous several. We watch on Alpha, and it's, it was like 4.5 hours. This one was like 3:48. As it kept ticking on, I'm like,
they're not going to do a break.
That's exactly what I thought.
And then, like, with 20 minutes left, they do like a break. Yeah.
And I'm like, what? But
contractually, they have to probably do the break
to do the giveaway,
the giveaway and the commercials.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's a huge chunk of their revenue. So apparently, there is a Wormwood Kickstarter going on right now.
Yes.
By the time this goes up, I don't know if it'll still be going on. I didn't look at the Kickstarter to know.
It's really cool. I'm like, God, do I want another one of those things or not? It's really neat.
Yeah. So I think now we know everyone's subclass, their archetype now. I think. Right. And a couple of them like got a little bit RP out of it in order to get them, like Marisha did on the last episode. And this episode, we got like a dream sequence from Travis's character, which was kind of cool.
So he's a Hexblade, right?
Yeah, he's a Hexblade, but he just picked his pack boon, Pact of the Blade, clearly. And then we saw Nott cast spells.
So he's an arcane trickster.
So he's an arcane trickster, which worked.
I totally wasn't putting all the pieces together because I don't see arcane tricksters played very often. So it's like, did he take 2 levels of rogue and then go a level of wizard? And partway through the episode, I'm like, he just went arcane trickster, Ted. Come on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll let you slide because part of me went, does he got magic initiate? And I'm like, wait a minute, the 3rd level, it can't. So that was a little bit of my thought process as well. And I was like, and then I was like, he can't. He's 3rd level, right? Archetype, arcane trickster. And then I was like, well, do they get that or not? And so we definitely saw that. We knew from the earliest episodes that the wizard tradition was already picked from Caleb, and he's a transmuter. That's how like he does the box trick.
Yeah.
Which someone pointed out in the comments. I don't have everything memorized, guys.
We have a lot, but not everything.
Yeah. We knew Laura Bailey's character Jester is playing
Trickster.
A trickster domain or trickery, yes, trickery domain. Although I still don't actually know what order that Taliesin Jaffrey's character went with the Blood Hunter.
I don't know that enough. It's been so long since we reviewed it that I don't know enough. I doubt he's the alchemy one, which is what I had played. I think there's a total of 4 options. I don't think he's Ghost. That doesn't make sense. For what's going on there, the ethereal one, but he could be either of the other 2.
Lycan doesn't seem very likely either, because that's really like you kind of wolf out a little bit. So I'm not seeing that one, and I forget what the other one is. No, the other one is a spellcaster. The other one is the Warlock. Actually, I think the Ghost one is actually the most likely.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. But he's not casting spells. That's he's only used his Tiefling spells. I think he's going to be the Ghost Hunter.
You guys out there. What are you what are you thinking? You guys have more of a knowledge of the Blood Hunter and wanna clue us in?
Well, what's going to happen is because the way we released these, like another episode or 2 already come out, we might know by then.
True.
But right now it does really seem like he's just doing the base abilities for the Blood Hunter, from what I recall. Right. We read several different iterations of it, and we also read them a while ago. I mean, we actually did a play test where I ran a game, and there was 4 players. 3 of them did the 3 Blood Hunters that existed at that time.
Right.
The order of the Lycan wasn't there yet. Maybe we need to revisit that and do another game where we add a fourth player that plays the Lycan one.
Yeah, we can absolutely.
Maybe even revisiting those characters.
Ooh, my dwarf that can't move.
Yeah, and I think Nate played in that game as well.
Yeah, it was Nate, Ryan, and I were the Blood Hunters.
No, Ryan was not in that game. Ty played in that game as a non-Blood Hunter.
He was the cleric that turned on us.
Yeah, and then we had Art Wood played in the game as well.
Okay.
But I digress. We've gotten way off topic. We've been lured away by Matt Mercer's Blood Hunters,
which is awesome.
Yeah.
So this one starts off. We had or the characters had, we're traveling away from the main city and heading to their new destination, and they were going to make Allfield in this episode, and they spent quite a little whiles on the road, again with some unnecessary checks to talk to some traveling guards, another merchant caravan, and some buffalo. It ate up a little bit of time that I was like, where is this going? I was curious.
Well, I don't mind that. Like, that stuff comes up in the game. I would say, like, the perception check to see for Fjord to recognize whether or not Beauregard has bruises or not seemed kind of pointless.
I would have thought, like, the bird perception check on the guard wasn't really all that worthwhile. I would have given more information. Just like birds have really good sight, and that's what he's seeing through.
Right. Oh, I don't know. So, like, that stuff was, like, here or there. Like, the main part of the session revolved around a huge fight.
So they wound up pushing on late at night to be able to rest in town. Doing so wound up giving half the characters disadvantage because they took a level of exhaustion, which affected what actually happened in the battle because some of their skill checks were made with disadvantage. So grappling was challenging and sneaking was challenging. Initiative wound up slowing it down, which caused the gnolls to go first. And it was funny when he first describes what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, is it werewolves? Is it?"
Well, no, Jester just called them werewolves, which is funny. Like, I love the fact that Laura Bailey, we'll have Jester just say things, and whether they're true or not, and then Jester just kind of like goes with it for a while, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy metagaming in that direction.
Again, she just adds so many layers to the enjoyment for watching. I don't know what it's like gaming, with that, but for the entertainment value of watching, she continues.
It'd be fantastic to game with because it gives you a lot to role play off of.
That's true.
She's role playing the whole time. She's in character. She's using a voice most of the time, and it was funny. Like the one time when she slips out of character, out of the voice, and then she kind of like calls it out.
Well, she's like, "Oh, well, that was Jester saying that." It's like, that's weird.
Yeah. The battle could have gone poorly.
I love what happened in the battle. I thought, it's always fantastic when he pulls out the prepared, mats of, okay, this is what you guys are going to.
And they had the cool lighting on it.
They had the cool lighting. They had the buildings that were on fire, and you could remove the roofs to see where people were moving. I thought it was really great addition to the game, but a lot of problems happen when you split the party because you can go in buildings and you can get separated, and it could have really gone bad for Beau, but she just she's got a decent armor class, and Matt just happened to roll not well enough.
She made some good choices, like knowing when to dodge and or picking when to dodge and when not to dodge and things like that. Really helped her character out. Some good rolls and stuff also helped as well. But I just like how the fight ended personally. Like,
well, this is something that I as a DM, you have to be careful when you put things out there. And I was curious how things were going to go, and I knew the way Matt was describing. All right, this cart, it moves. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that there's something going on there, and the players didn't make a push towards it. I wonder what was on there, like what would have happened had the players decided to be willing to sacrifice, hit points to get out in front of those
bodies. They had bodies. The gnolls had been loading up bodies and goods.
Bodies and goods, but I don't know Like they didn't get into specifics of it.
Right. And even at the end though, the guard's like, oh, some of those people were still alive or could have been still alive, so we can't just leave them. But I like the fact that like Nott just decides to bolt after the cart, and the one Noel just drops him with an arrow, and then
drops Caleb with an arrow.
No, it wasn't Caleb. It was
Molly.
Molly's like, oh no, I have to go help him. And Molly still had like 19
hit points. Did 21 points of damage. I don't know how Matt runs the instant death, but had he fired that arrow at Jester, that would have been down, negative 50%, which would have just out and out killed her. Because she had 7 hit points left. And he rolled randomly to determine who he was attacking, whether it be Molly or Jester.
What is her max, like 16 or 18 or something like that?
I don't know. She had 7 hit points at the time.
Yeah, but that's not relevant. It's how much your max. It's based off of your max.
She had 26 hit points is her max.
She'd have been fine.
But isn't it instant death when you reach negative half your hit points? It did 21 points of damage.
I thought it was your hit points.
Okay.
It would have been, but the thing that would have been really bad is if the Null decided to shoot Knock or not when Nott was down.
So it could have gone, really bad, and he turns and keeps walking on. I'm like, oh man, there's so many elements that I love. Watching in that battle of how everything ebbed and flowed. I like that Fjord had, mind controlled one of them, and there was this whole struggle on top of the roof, and
when he used the Crown of Madness.
Yes.
I do find it a little funny and maybe a little bit hokey when they use their abilities for the first time. They're like so over the top with their excitement. I've yet to really see that at the table to that degree. So I mean they're actors, so they're turning it up a little bit. Yeah. I know some people would argue that that it wouldn't make sense for the DM to attack a down character, but I would make the argument that the Geneva Conventions exist for a reason, and one of the things you cannot do is double tap. Mm-hmm. And double tap is actually, like I've seen that terminology used in, like in crime books or where assassins are involved as a profession, and they use the term professional courtesy, with the double tap. So I think it could very well happen. That's like instant 2 death saves. Although with 21 points of damage and you don't have any hit points left, I don't know what Nott's max is. Right. So that could be brutal as a rogue. And Nott does not have the uber scores of some of the other characters. Right. So he might not have the constitution for it.
Yeah. So it wound up making this nice, interesting dynamic. It ends with the Gnolls getting away. And, once the leader turned around, they're like, well, wait a second, we got to back up because, Nott jumped the initiative order because it was going to be just leader versus Nott. And they weren't having that. So like, okay, we rewind a little bit, which, is cool to see other DMs, do that kind of stuff. Because, some DMs are like, nope, I don't ever, do that.
Yeah, what happened.
Yeah.
But, I always make the argument, too, for, retconning and doing some things. And I, as a DM, have done this often, been like, hey, wait a minute. Because, one, sometimes the characters just have more information than the players do. And two, it's like real easy when you're sitting at the table to jump the gun or go out of order or do something. Whereas, in the real situation, when you're living it, that's not likely to happen. I wouldn't say not likely, but a lot less likely to happen.
So the 3 of them went out there, Jester, Nott, and Molly, and the other 3 were still behind. And
had that been 2 glaive attacks, it'd have been ugly.
So, okay, the 2 characters fall, and he's calling for the horde of minions that are still in the town because they were only dealing with a section of it. So it was like, oh man, this could have gone really bad had they all charged in headstrong because there would have been at least 10 other Gnolls.
Next says in Prison Break.
Yeah, I love seeing what other DMs do in these challenging situations because. You put players out there not knowing what they're going to do, and sometimes they make the wrong choice.
Well, it's part of the game. Sometimes you're in the heat of the moment. I mean, that in Save or Dice, that really did result in a TPK pretty much. because we got a little bloodthirsty for like this villain had been taunting us, throughout the whole game almost. So we're like, just one more round and we'll take her out. We did take her out, but there were some other things that happened too, like the party died.
So any shining moments in this particular episode that you we want to call out or call attention to?
This episode, I want to say my favorite was the pack weapon scene for Ford's character, him meeting his patron, I guess, which is like a Kraken, but they're using the Hexblade,
right?
Instead of what the normal one is, because I guess they think it's stupid too. If the weapon is actually your patron, although it got changed a little bit with when they actually released it. It's like the Shadowfell or whatever. So I'm curious to see how that goes, if they're going to connect those things together, or if they're like, nah, this would be way cooler just as, having like a Kraken or Leviathan type monster as the patron, and we're just going to use Hexblade because it's got a cool suite of abilities, and also, packed weapon is the direction they went in. So all in all, like that part, I found that really enjoyable. And I like seeing how they did that.
I loved him, going to sleep. And all he pictures is just this vast eye, and the waking up coated in water,
drowning.
Drowning. I was like, it was just such a well done scene.
Yeah. And once again they did the everyone leave.
Yes.
Again, everyone's a little over dramatic again.
It's like, we gotta leave.
I get it. You're all actors. We understand. We know.
I just think it sells the moment.
Maybe, if you say so. But yeah, so that scene was my favorite. What about you?
I don't know. For me, I gotta say the very long drawn out battle was the bulk of what was there, and because there was so much ebb and flow, and it was a very dynamic combat. We weren't dealing with loads of misses, or at least not so much on the player side. I really liked Beau being so flanked by these two creatures, and being able to tank it no problems. I just felt that it was the bulk of the session, but I thought that there was so much to it that I just loved it all.
My son pointed out, they don't have a fighter. What kind of party is this? I mean, I technically don't. I don't remember if Blood Hunter is a D10 or a D8. Mm-hmm. It might be a D10, but still, no one tanks as good as a fighter.
That is
or
true.
a paladin, or something like that. So they really don't.
They have a barbarian. She's just not there very often.
Well, yeah, that is the problem. Like their main tank is in and out of the game, so that's kind of brutal.
But a party of 6 on average, occasionally with 7, with a single healing class is difficult, especially because Jester is. She's not holding back. Because
Jester is Jester.
she doesn't hold her back. Like, she used inflict wounds.
Yeah.
When there's party members that are down, and it's like, or not necessarily down, but like,
And she's been cheating the whole time, apparently.
Well, she was moving her duplicate too often.
Yeah.
It requires a bonus action to move it. Yeah. But like, she called herself on it once she realized. So.
I know. I was just teasing. But I thought, that ability is way better than I remember it being. So, like, the fact that you can use it to get advantage and cast spells through it.
Yeah, and she's been using it well. I enjoy seeing Dia.
I don't know about well, but often. And if you do something often enough, you're gonna get some good use at it. Because sometimes she just uses it and nothing really comes of it. Like during like the Devil Toad fight,
right,
where it was just kind of like there.
Well, like in the Devil Toad fight, she put it out there and it didn't really draw any aggro. Yeah. Whereas like she puts it out there in this battle. And it drew 4 or 5 arrow attacks.
Yeah, and in a combat like this, where there's more going on, more confusing. Like I think in the other one, like maybe 1 or 2 of the imps took a swing at it, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't real," and then ignored it. But in a battle like this, where you can move things around, it's going to be way more useful. There's more confusion going on.
Yes, and I like that kind of stuff because then it allows you. Okay, well, here's this target that can't really get damaged, and you can have more threats there. Because while the party is taking down some, this element is taking up attacks, therefore not causing any damage to the actual party.
Yeah, this combat was way more tactical than any of the previous ones. There was more going on. There was allies and enemies hiding behind cover, even throughout one of Nott's attacks. Like 17 would absolutely hit, but it hits the wall instead. So that was kind of cool to see. So there was some cool things going on with this large scale fight. We kind of know next week is probably going to start with maybe some action with them going to try and rescue people or see what's going on.
It might just wind up being a scouting mission, or it might be a
4-hour planning session.
It could be stealth and rescue. I mean, there's a lot of different directions that could happen, and I'm curious to see what it's going to be.
Well, it would be a really good week for them to have Ashley back, I think. That would be that would really change the tide of things.
Yeah, Yasha, I think could third level barbarian getting in there, mixing it up with the gnolls. Be fun to see. I'm curious
too if Matt just keeps her XP on par with everyone else and everyone levels together. I imagine he would.
Yeah, he hasn't awarded XP, and he did say in the one session that he's doing the milestone. So I can't imagine that she's not going to be on par with everybody else.
You have a really good acting job, so suck it.
All right. Well, everybody's had 5. You've had 2 sessions. So, you got 3 more sessions to go before you can level up.
I'm sure they're going to be answering us in the comments because they're going to know what happened on the last campaign anyway. Yeah. So I imagine they would, and that would be really cool, especially if she comes in at a thematic time where maybe they're getting ready. They've launched their attack. And here comes Yasha out of nowhere to help them.
Kind of like they did where she came up, she came out of the stockade.
Yeah.
It's oh, here she is. It's awesome to see the session's already started, things are going, and then by the way.
Now I will say I like that as watching as an entertainment. I do not like that as a game I'm running at my table, because I would hate for the player to sit around for half the session and then get to finally play halfway in. We try and avoid that at our table. I understand why they might do it differently for Critical Role, or maybe that's even how they just run their home games. But I'm if you're here, I want you to play.
I want you in, yeah.
And I want as soon as possible. And if we got to get a little hand wavy, we will. But again, well, I guess actually all of our games go online. Whatever. I guess we just don't care.
Yeah, I'll go hand wavy. In my game, I've had a player who's been out multiple sessions, and he's supposed to be here. So it's okay, well, I'm just gonna blah blah blah, and there he is.
Yeah. If I can introduce them back in a cool way, I will, but not at the expense of them watching the game for most of the session or whatever. But GMs and tables do it their own way, and that's just how we do it. So what did you guys think? Did you enjoy session number 5? Let us know in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can check us out over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.